Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nemesis Gaming League, where the grind continues. We are back for week number 7, Wednesday matches. We're starting things off here tonight in the Challenger League. We've got Flame going up against Snowstorm. Your boy Psychonautic in the booth, ready to bring that play-by-play action straight to your living room. And I'm joined by a newbie around here. Finn, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. These matches here on stream are going to be pretty exciting, especially this first one here. I know that they don't have their starting roster because there was an issue with one of their players, but they are on a 9-game winning streak, and it'll be interesting if they can keep it up even with that.
Are we talking about Flame right now, Finn?
Yes.
Yeah, Flame, you're 100% correct. Flame is in fact missing Local, who's on an indefinite suspension. He's being investigated by management at the time. So when management concludes with their investigation, he will be either put back into play or something else will happen. We're not sure yet. All the information's up in the air. However, I think Fakey is the name of the person that's going to be filling in for him. Yes, Fakey will be filling in for him. So hopefully Fakey can fill the shoes of Local and keep that 9 series win streak in Flame's favor.
Yeah, and I know that Flame, they have a 5-4 all-time series record over Snowstorm. They definitely want to take this win so that it's not tied up, but Snowstorm, they have their own power in this match with Jonah, who is on their roster. He has the player of the week from last week, and they also have Khan and JSN. I don't know if those two are the starters over Huntu, but they also have Huntu. And they made it to the semifinals in Season 6, but they ended up losing to the eventual champions who was Venom.
Yeah, so they did do pretty good, and then in Season 5, I believe they performed pretty well as well. But I've heard you brought up Joe. How do you say his name?
Jonah.
Oh, Jonah. Okay, well, I've heard about him. I've heard that he's kind of expected to pop off here tonight. So we'll see if he is in fact able to do that. And as far as predictions go for these teams, I was looking at the Discord, and it seems like the community is pretty one-sided in this. We've got 55 for Flame voting for Flame and 14 voting for Snowstorm. And then on the Twitch channel, we've got 42,000 going towards Flame and only 17,000 channel points going towards Snowstorm. Also, want to shout out Krippus real quick for the gifted sub. Also going to shout out Moifin for being the big winner of the sub. So congratulations. Thank you, Krippus. I think Krippus is up to like 170 gifted subs, 177, something like that. So absolutely goated. Big shout out to Krippus. And we are going to get into the match now, Finn. This best of 5 match. And before we get too deep, let me hear the caster prediction from your side. Who do you think is going to take this win?
I'm thinking Flame here in a 3-1 fashion. They have a really solid roster, and they have a lot of momentum going into this game from previous games, and so I just got to give it to Flame here.
See if Flame is able to step up to the challenge, or if Snowstorm can shut them down and put themselves in a much better position. I believe I heard that this is a battle for the #1 seed, so a win for either side here is going to be crucial. We're down to the final 3 games of the regular season. We've just got today's games and then our 2 games next week before we start, before the regular season ends. So these teams got a lot of pressure to handle right now. Huntu coming off the sidewall, not going to make the touch, leaving it wide open. Isaac just going to bang that through. Nobody back to make the stop.
Yeah, and Huntu it didn't look like he had any boost. He just missed his open hit in the air, and Isaac, nobody else was back for Snowstorm, and Isaac just had an open shot that he was able to put in.
Flame going up by 1 on the scoreboard. A minute gone for left. We'll see if Snowstorm is able to answer back, or Flame is going to keep them shut down. Isaac just coming off the ceiling. He's there, but Huntu is as well. 50s with him, though the ball does get pinched and is still in Snowstorm's defensive zone. Fakey flicks over 1, tries to get the bump on Huntu off the back wall, but doesn't make it. JSN back to make the stop. He gets a big bang, and Fakey gonna bang that right back. Isaac just in the middle with a touch. Fakey trying to get it back to the side past the defender. Isaac trying to help him out, but Jonum is gonna take it away from him. The ball gets hit down to the side. JSN is there. He's trying to get control off the backboard. He gets it through. Huntu not quite ready for the touch that he had with 2 minutes gone now from this game. We are still sitting with Flame up by 1. Isaac with the shot trying to go up by 2, but doesn't make it. Finn, what do you think is keeping Flame in the leading position right now?
No, there's not much to it. They just had a lot more pressure banging these shots. Snowstorm's been trying to get it out and had a few successful attempts, but Flame has just been able to keep pounding on the Snowstorm defense. And so Snowstorm just hasn't had the offense that they've needed so far, and that's the only really reason that Flame's still up.
We'll see if they can hold the lead as we reach the halfway point in game number 1. Fakey with a nice shot, but Huntu is able to get in front of it and make the stop. Huntu getting his first save of the game. Isaac with a big save, getting his 3rd save of the game. Fakey getting the ball out and cleared. Isaac is up. His shot gonna go wide. Fakey gets the demo. Cool Kyle with the shot, but Jonum back in time to make the stop. Flame just not relenting with their offensive pressure right now, Finn. They are giving this Snowstorm roster a heck of a beating.
And Snowstorm, they really need to get out here, get some boost, get it out. Don't let the Flame put another one in. Get some offense, make some team plays, make some demos, and hope it works out, because right now it's not looking good for them.
It certainly is not, with just over 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. But it looks like Snowstorm gonna find the equalizing goal. Jonum getting a touch to the mid and just slamming that ball downfield.
Yeah, and that was a great 50 from Huntu to put it middle. And Jonah was just there with boost to get a nice shot with nobody on Flame back, tying up this game with 1:30 left.
We now got a tie ball game. Cool Kyle pops it up, trying to follow it, looking for the double. Huntu, they get the defensive touch. Jonum trying to dunk, can't. Jonum with the touch out of the corner, down to Huntu, but he can't find the right angle for his touch. The ball gonna go wide of the net. Cool Kyle taking his time, going up on the ceiling, trying to get a little bit mechanical here. Jonum gonna beat him to the ball, get it cleared away from Snowstorm net. JSN with the bang past the middle line. Cool Kyle missing the ball. JSN also gonna miss his ball as Fakey runs it up the wall. Huntu to take it away from him. The final 60 seconds of this game wind down, and we are still tied at 1 goal. Finn, if you had to guess, or if you had to give your opinion, who do you think has the upper hand at this point? Is it still Flame, or has Snowstorm been able to turn the tables?
I don't know. Snowstorm is really taking a lot of the pressure now, and so it might change it up, because the pressure really only matters here in these late seconds when it's tied up like this. And if Snowstorm can keep this pressure, it might just go their way. But we can only watch and see what happens.
We certainly will. The final 15 seconds ticking down. Will either of these teams find the back of the net, or will we see a game 1 overtime? Huntu bangs the ball down. Isaac sending it back. JSN gets an awkward touch. Isaac out of the corner. This could be something. Jonum gonna put that ball down, and we have an overtime, ladies and gentlemen, in game number 1. Finn, this is shaping up to be quite the series so far.
Yeah, and both of these teams are really good against each other. It's not like one team has a ton of pressure as Huntu puts one in to win the game in OT.
There it is. JSN with a nice carry, getting it past the defense on the back wall. Huntu reading his pass perfectly, getting it past the defense. And Snowstorm gonna take game number 1 in this best of 5 series, get the early control of the series over Flame, and sort of flex a little bit, if you will. I'm interested to see, Finn, what Flame's able to do, what changes they're able to make, if they're going to make any changes. They were playing really, really well. Snowstorm just kind of snuck up on them in the final seconds of that game.
Yeah, I don't know. They might have just given up just a little bit too much in that second half of the game, and that's what caused Snowstorm to come in, read the Flame plays, and take back the pressure, take those goals, and it ended up getting them the win. As Flame just they weren't they weren't there in the second half of that game to finish off what they had in the first half.
Yeah, they did sort of seem to peter out a little bit in the second half of the game. We'll have to see if Flame can overcome that in game number 2. If they are able to once again secure the early lead in this game, but if they'll be able to hold it out, or is Snowstorm going to use the momentum from their game number 1 win and start things off strong? Game number 2, we'll have to see as we dive into it. Cool Kyle getting a controlled ball past one defender. Fakey trying to get it past the last defender, but Huntu stays strong, makes the save. Isaac putting a wrench in the offensive play. Fakey up in the mid, gets a bang up to Cool Kyle, finding a redirect and a beautiful pass play coming out for Flame.
And there wasn't much to it. Fakey just was trying to put it into the Snowstorm zone, and Kyle was in the perfect position to get a nice shot over Jonah, who didn't have enough time to react to that and make a save.
Good heads-up play from Cool Kyle right there, as it looked like he was rotating, and he had sound enough mind to see the ball coming for him, get up, makes the redirecting touch, and Cool Kyle again with the shot on net. Isaac gonna come in and clean things up for Flame as they get the insurance goal and start to take a bigger lead.
Yeah, and Kyle putting it above almost helped them because Jonah got out of place, and I believe that was Huntu. He also got out of place, so Isaac just had a nice, easy shot to the top left for an easy goal.
That's a tough thing sometimes whenever a team just assaults your backboard to keep a sound defensive mind and rotate properly. Panic starts to set in, cracks start to emerge inside the wall, and that is exactly what Flame is relying on right now, assaulting the Snowstorm net. Isaac with a huge demo, Fakey trying to get back, but Huntu is going to get to the ball in time to make the save and keep Flame from extending their lead by 3. We have barely just a minute gone. Fakey living up to his namesake with a massive fake right there.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic that he went for the pre-read for a 50 to put it in, and it worked out in his favor. As I don't remember who that was, but they weren't able to beat him to the ball and hit it out of the way.
That defender just unfortunately, yeah, I'm not even sure if he didn't needed necessarily to fake right there. They might have not have been able to get to the ball, period. But it did look quite stylish, I gotta admit. And Flame now up by 3 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. They have a commanding lead over Snowstorm, who struggled to score 1 point in game number 1, but then were able to force the overtime and take the game in overtime, though they have quite the mountain to climb if they think that they're going to be able to repeat that process for game number 2. Though with 3 minutes left on the clock, they do have plenty of time to make that pipe dream into a reality. The question is, will they be able to, as Huntu's going to pop that up. Fakey off the backboard, sending it out to the mid. Cool Kyle trying to get it past the defense in the midfield. JSM with the bump on Fakey, trying to open up a lane, but the ball gonna get cleared out. And Fakey not gonna be able to get a clean shot on net as we get closer to the midway point in game number 2 here, Finn. Flame, oh my goodness, Huntu hits the weight room, getting it past 2 defenders with the low 50.
Yeah, and Huntu, he saw his opportunity. He went low. He went for the 50 because he didn't have any boost left, and it worked out in his favor as he was able to get a clean 50 right in front of the net and was able to put it right in.
That was exactly what Snowstorm needed as we reached the halfway point. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Huntu with a big save right there for his team. JSN popping it past one of the offensive players, and Huntu just doing everything he can to get it out. Snowstorm once again starting to get suffocated in their defensive zone. They need to avoid this if they want to stay in this game. They have a little over 2 minutes left to get 2 more goals. Though I would say, Finn, that, dare I say, oh my goodness, maybe I don't need to say, Cool Kyle coming in and getting the pass from Isaac. And it looks like Flame, their pass plays are on point tonight.
Yeah, they just needed that warm-up game as Isaac came out with a great pass up in front, and Kyle was there just to take the easy, nice open net. Well, almost open net, but it was open enough for him to get the goal, and now they have a three goal lead.
Once again, 3-goal lead, not looking good. Oh no, almost another disastrous situation for Snowstorm. They were able to stay strong on the defensive line. Huntu with the touch up to Jonum. Jonum with the shot. Isaac back in time, shadowing the defender, making the stop. The ball gets pinched back dangerously in front of Flames net. Huntu dunking the ball off of Kyle Jonum there for it. Huntu going for the bump, but he can't find it. And that ball is going to get hit out by Isaac. Isaac doing a good job of getting away from that bump play. As we get down to the final minute, Huntu getting yet another save that puts him at 5 saves. Finn, Snowstorm is not looking terrible. Isaac just going to slam another one in, but they're not looking terrible. It's just Flames' offense is almost unstoppable.
Yeah, you're not wrong. In Flame, they have, they have, I believe it is 13 shots. Yeah, 13 shots. They had 6 before the halfway mark, but they have 13 now with just over a minute, and the pressure is just crazy. But as I'm talking, Jonah comes back, striking, wanting to keep the pressure up and getting a goal of his own.
Yeah, Jonah wanting to keep Snowstorm alive here in game number 2. Down once again by 3 goals with only a minute and 2 seconds left on the clock here. Will they be able to do it? They cannot afford to be suffocated in their own defensive zone here if Snowstorm is going to stay alive in game number 2. And on top of that, they need to find the back of the net at least one more time within the next few seconds to start gaining some of that momentum. As we see, they make their offensive onslaught here, trying to do just that. JSN caught out awkward. He's going to stick with the ball, though, trying to get it away. Cool Kyle gets in front of it, but not able to get it towards the net. Isaac putting it down, and Cool Kyle staying in the box, staying up for the play, and it pays off for him. He gets another goal, and Flame now up to 6 goals this game.
Yeah, and this is a crazy performance from all of Flame. They have a lot of stats, a lot of great passing plays, as Isaac was able to get a nice pass down to Cool Kyle once again, and now this game is looking like it's over.
Yeah, I would dare I say it pretty much is, with only 20 seconds left on the clock. And this Flame roster, not that they're the best defenders, they're definitely not bad, but they seem to just be able to not allow Snowstorm to clear the ball. They're just not letting them clear the ball. And when they do clear, they're sure to get that ball back into Snowstorm's defensive zone as quickly as they possibly can. And then they maintain that barrier at the midfield. So they're just cutting everything off for Snowstorm. They're not allowing Snowstorm to generate very much offensive pressure. They were able to get some. Jonum with 4 shots on net, only able to sink one of those. But Huntu being forced to make 6 saves. I don't know if it's a rotational problem, Finn, or if it's a communication problem, but Huntu needs help defensively. He can't be the only one making all those saves.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I mean, with the Flame, I mean, I'd almost say they just need that first game as a warm-up game to figure stuff out because it's not their usual roster. But also, they had 15 shots. That's a crazy amount of offense. And like you were talking about, they're not the worst defensive players. They're pretty good. But maybe their defensive motto is a good defense is a better offense, and it's showing with this 6-2 game.
Yeah, I agree. A good offense is I'm messing up the
Yeah.
saying, but a good offense is a good defense, or a strong defense. I'm not sure this saying. I'm sure people in chat
A
do the
good
saying.
defense is a better offense.
There you go. There you go. And it definitely plays out for some teams. Doesn't play out for all teams, but it seems to be playing out here for Flame. They've got a pretty much unstoppable offense, and they seem to be quite solid defensively as well. Though the mistakes are going to happen to all teams. The best of us make mistakes. Snowstorm in game 1 able to capitalize off those mistakes, but not so much in game number 2. And we'll see here moving into game number 3 into the Coliseum if Flame is going to be able to go up 2 in the series, sitting at match point, or is Snowstorm going to take the lead here in game number 3 for this series? Jonah with the with the cross mid. JSN was there, but doesn't beat out the defender. Huntu can't get it through Fakey. Flame keeping the pressure back on the Snowstorm side of things. Out of the corner, Huntu gets beat by Isaac. Cool Kyle's there off the backboard. JSN to clear it away. JSN following the ball. Fakey to take it away from him. Fakey following it, gets it past one of the defenders, trying to dunk out Jonah. Jonah to clear it out. Isaac with the long shot from the midfield. Huntu gets back and yet again starts his defensive escapade here. Game number 3, only a minute gone, and we're seeing a much different game than we saw in game number 2. We're seeing, I'm not sure if it's a Snowstorm that's just not allowing Flame to mount as much offensive pressure, or if Flame is just not getting the good touches that they need.
And this one seems a lot more like game 1, a lot more even. It looks like both teams, there's no really huge pressure coming out from either team, so I'm interested to see if it's going to be like another game 1 or if it's going to turn into another game 2, even if it's for Snowstorm and they have a ton of pressure coming out in a little bit.
We will see as things start to wind down. Every second that goes by that we sit at 0-0, the pressure inside this Coliseum grows, and these players feel it. And we'll see, it's going to come down to who makes the first mistake, or rather who's able to capitalize off of the other team's mistake first. As Jonah up with it, trying to look for a double, not going to get the touch he needs. The ball is popped up. Isaac's there, gets bumped out. Huntu's shot doesn't get past the defense. Cool Kyle with the 50 in the mid with Jonah. The ball is up. Cool Kyle with the touchdown to Fakey with the shot, but Jonah gets in front of it, makes a save. Huntu going for the ball in the Flame corner, gets demoed by Isaac as we reach the midway point here. Jonah with the shot that goes high. Huntu trying to finish it out, but Fakey with the save. As we are now past the halfway point, both of these teams still sitting at 0 fin. Neither of them really looking like they have the advantage. Snowstorm with just 2 more shots on net, or excuse me, now 1 shot on net over Flame, but both holding strong defensively.
Yeah, and Fakey here for Flame, he's been a really big help on the defense so far with only 2 saves, but they have been really important saves, especially because if he wasn't there for one of them, it would have been an easy goal. And so Flame will hopefully try and get more pressure like they did last game and get a goal.
They seem to be having the pressure here, but Snowstorm just holding out defensively, rotating well, getting good touches. A little bit of a problem here for Snowstorm as Flame comes in, but they do hold out and they hold strong. They get the ball cleared away, maintaining 0-0 scoreline. Isaac with the flip reset, gets it past the final defender and takes the lead for Flame.
And Isaac's just like, enough is enough. Somebody's got to score here. He goes for the flip reset. He gets it with an amazing shot. And so they take the lead here with only 1:20 left. Snowstorm has a lot that they need to get over to tie this game up. But as Cool Kyle puts one on net off the kickoff, and now it's going to be even harder for Snowstorm.
Yeah, great cheat from Cool Kyle right there. Coming in, Isaac able to put it in the middle, and Cool Kyle just beats Jonah. He's just faster in that particular play. Hits the ball straight into the net. Good shot from Cool Kyle, extending Flames' lead by 2 with 1:12 seconds left on the clock. Cool Kyle on it again, gets the bouncer and puts it in the, not quite the upper 90, but upper right.
Yeah, and Kyle's liking these kickoffs right now after getting 2 in a row, 11 seconds in difference. And that was also a nice shot, as it looked like he was going to shoot low and slow, but it went fast, and the defender did not have enough time to get the save off.
That was huge for Flame as they take a 3-point lead with the final 60 seconds of game number 3 upon us. They are looking to take this game and take the match point seat in the series, moving into game number 4 if Snowstorm is not able to pull something out in the final moments. JSN up, but Isaac up as well on the backboard. Huntu with the boop that's gonna go not in his favor. Fakey missing the shot. The second shot missing. Cool Kyle almost missing, but it's unfortunately touches off of a Snowstorm's car and bounces.
Yeah, and Jonah has a tiny bit of a notice moment here as he didn't mean to, but he turned into the ball, putting it in, and who knows, that could have went out and they could have gotten a goal off of it, but at this point it's looking like the game is over.
Yeah, I would say it is all but over for game number 3. Still technically possible, but with the way Flame's been playing, I don't think it's very probable. Just 15 seconds left here before Flame takes, and Isaac gonna get one for the road with 10 seconds left on the clock. The dagger is now been inserted and Snowstorm is dead as far as game number 3 is concerned.
Yeah, it's been the Flame show here in these last 2 games, coming out with huge goal games. 6 in the last one, 5 so far in this one. With 10 seconds left, they might even score another one, but it's highly unlikely.
And Snowstorm looking to get one for the road. I love the tenacity from this team, not willing to give up even at a 5-0 blowout. They know that they're still in the series. They're still willing to play, looking to get one for the road, build a little bit of momentum going into game number 4 as they need all the help that they can get. But this is not going to play out for them as Isaac almost gets another one, but it's going to touch right before. Flame, your winners in game number 3. A spectacular performance from them. Isaac with the clip, with the flip reset. Yeah, can't get much better than that. You know, Flame's feeling themselves right now, Finn.
Yeah, and it looks like Isaac and Cool Kyle are having a little fun, saying that they got robbed because it's the map. Isaac wanted that hat trick. He didn't get it, though, but he had 7 shots, which is a very big number. And again, Flame had huge pressure this game, having 14 shots. They had their saves, but they had the pressure, and that's something that Snowstorm hasn't really had. And that might be the changing factor in the series, as if Snowstorm doesn't do anything about it, they might go down in 3-1 fashion.
Yeah, it does seem to be the common denominator in this series so far, as Snowstorm can't allow Flame to have the offensive pressure that they have. They have to shut them down in the midfield. They have to keep Flame suffocated in their own defensive zone, but this Snowstorm roster doesn't seem to have the ability to do that against this Flame roster, and so they're just getting sort of wrecked here. You know, game number 1 was pretty good, but game 2 was a blowout in favor of Flame. Game 3 was a blowout in favor of Flame, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a rinse and repeat here in game number 4. But I gotta note, we are at the Forbidden Temple, Finn, so anything is possible. If there's an arena that Snowstorm is going to make a comeback and push a game 5, it's going to be this one.
I have my own memories from Forbidden Temple of trying to push into it was a game 7 for me, but anything can happen. I was going crazy when I played, and anything happened. We'll just have to see if Snowstorm can pull something off.
And we will see indeed. However, neither of these teams pulling much of anything off in the first minute of gameplay. And dare I say, Flame are just biding a little time, allowing themselves a little bit of gear up space before they start the onslaught that has been their offense. And that barely missing. Huntu getting robbed by the upper 90 post. Isaac is going to send that one all the way out. Fakey up for the redirect, but the ball is not going to go towards the net. Huntu pass 1 out to the mid. JSN there might have an empty look. Fakey getting back in time. Going to put the clamp on JSN's attempt. Fakey looking towards the mid. Isaac's there, but so is Jonah. Huntu coming through with the awkward pop. Luckily, JSN was back to help him out. Cool Kyle with a great shot. Jonah fast as all get out, and he comes in with the it's not even a clapback. It was the first goal. Snowstorm taking the lead, I think, for the first time in this series.
Well, technically they won OT, but yeah, taking a lead with time left. Yes, Jonah just put the shot on net, and Isaac's just barely not having enough time to get back to save it, which unfortunately lets them go down by 1.
Jonum out to Huntu in the mid. Huntu can't get the touch he's looking for. JSN pops it. He can't get to the ball fast enough to dunk Cool Kyle. Kyle does get it through. Fakey getting dunked by Snowstorm's defense. Jonum out to the mid. JSN was there. The defense was as well. Batted that one down. Huntu with the touch in the midfield. Fakey up to Isaac. Isaac not able to find the touch, and that was a dangerous touch from Jonum, putting it in front of his own net, but JSN helped him out, cleared the ball away. Huntu there with the pinch. It's going to pinch all the way across as the double demo comes out for a player from each team getting demoed there and having to reset. And we are in the second half of game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Flame is up 2-1 in the series, but Snowstorm is up 1-0 in game number 4. They're able to secure this win here. They're going to force a game number 5 on this Flame roster, which I got to say, Finn, would be pretty interesting and somewhat unexpected with how convincing Flame's game 2 and 3 wins were.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, but Flame has their own pressure, and they're wanting to put a goal here to tie it up, hopefully send it to OT, or even make a regulation win. But they're going to have to keep this pressure up, keep Snowstorm out of their zone if they want to do that. Because Snowstorm wants this Game 5 and hopefully win in Game 5, obviously. But we'll have to see, as Snowstorm has a lot of pressure right now.
Woo. They certainly do, and Snowstorm have been doing a much better job in this game, in game number 4, than the rest of the series of keeping Flame's offensive pressure to a minimum. Flame so far only able to log 5 shots on net with only 60 seconds remaining. This is pretty much back to game number 1. The only difference being that Snowstorm holds the lead. JSN with the heater towards the net, but Fakey's there in time. Isaac looking for the double, almost gonna get it. And Fakey, the last man back, was demoed, but JSN missing his touch there. An opportunity to extend Snowstorm's lead by 2. It's gonna fall by the wayside with only 30 seconds left, though. Snowstorm still sitting pretty, still leading the game, but by a measly 1 point, which anybody that understands Rocket League understands that don't mean nothing. Even when there's only 2 seconds left on the clock, or even 0 seconds left on the clock, you can keep that ball up. You can get it all the way around the entire arena 3 or 4 times and then score it. Final 5 seconds here. Will Snowstorm force a game 5? Fakey gets it over and up. Huntu with the push down, and that's going to be it. Snowstorm going to take game number 4, force a game number 5. And we got quite the series here, ladies and gentlemen. Our first series of the night going into a game number 5. You love to see it, Finn.
Yeah, and I've got to be interested to see know what the Flame are thinking right now, as they had 2 huge games. Then all of a sudden it went back to the first game where Snowstorm is only winning by 1, and it's just back and forth. Not a lot of pressure coming from Flame. As you said, they only have 6 shots, which is under half for both of the game 2 and game 3, and so I'm hoping that they can pull off something, as these first and fourth games haven't been too interesting, but we'll have to see.
And we will certainly see, ladies and gentlemen, as we move into game number 5. Will it be Snowstorm? Will it be Flame? How do you feel about it in the chat? We know that it mostly is leading towards Flame, and Flame, honestly, in my opinion, looking like they have the upper hand moving into game number 5, as their wins have been absolutely just dominating wins, and Snowstorm has only won by 1 point in both of their games, one of which had to go to an OT, one of which they won in regulation. And that's not to take away from Snowstorm. Sometimes it's not about the quantity of the shot, it's about the quality of the shot. In game number 1 and game number 4, Snowstorm proved that. But in game 2 and 3, it was the opposite. So I'm not sure what it's going to come down here to, Finn. You've got a team that prefers the quality of the shot, and one that prefers the quantity. And Cool Kyle starting things off with Flame in the first 10 seconds.
And that was a really nice play, as Fakey put it on the backboard. Isaac hit it off the backboard, so it got Snowstorm moving out of the positions that they needed to be in. And then Kyle just came in, cleaned up, played the janitor role, and got the easy goal.
And that's certainly not what you want to see if you are Snowstorm. Giving Flame an early lead may be detrimental to the series. Cool Kyle with the shot, but it's going to bounce off of the top crossbar. Isaac with a beautiful pass to the mid there to set his team up. JSN bounces that all the way back down, trying to create some space for Snowstorm to get some offensive pressure working. Ball does get sent all the way back to Snowstorm's corner. Huntu off of the backboard with the pop. Nobody from Flame there. Huntu getting a little bit ahead of himself, flips under the ball. Jonam with the 50. Fakey is up for it, but Jonam meets him near the ceiling, takes it away from him. Isaac gonna get beat out, but the double commit from Snowstorm could cost him a look on net. Huntu with a huge demo, and the ball just rolls out from in front of the net. And that is unfortunate for Snowstorm, but they're still on the offensive pressure here, as finally Flame is going to alleviate that pressure. And that is a feels bad moment, Finn, for Snowstorm there, as they had the goal in their hands and it just slipped away.
Yeah, and you know, if they lose this game by especially one goal, they're really not going to like not putting that one in, is that would have been maybe the deal breaker of them losing or winning or even tying to go to OT, as Isaac puts a nice shot on net off of a great pass.
Yeah, Fakey coming in from the corner, hits a great pass up for Isaac, and Isaac is going to hit those all day long. Isaac is very good at reading the backboard. He's very good at reading the aerial crosses from his teammates, and it has shown not only in this series but in multiple other series in past games. Isaac being an OG of the Nemesis crew here. I'd love to see him popping off on stream, and Flame benefiting from it. With 3 minutes left on the clock, Flame up by 2. Snowstorm not looking good for them, as they only one time have they been able to overcome a lead from Flame. In game number 1, they were able to tie it up in like the final 60 seconds of the game, push into OT and get the win. But I'm not so sure that Flame's gonna be so keen to allow that to happen again, as Fakey gets a touch and nobody from Snowstorm is back. Empty net, and that is how you spell disaster.
Yeah, and that was a miss from, I believe it was Jonah, and if he hit it, it might have been different, but they were over-committing just a little bit, hoping to get a goal, because they know in these final minutes it all comes down to if they have that goal, that one goal difference, but they weren't able to get it, as it bit them in the butt, and now they're down by 3.
Yes, it certainly did, but I gotta say, I'm not gonna count out Snowstorm yet. I think that from what I'm seeing right this minute, they still got some fight left in them. We still have a second half of this game number 5 to play. Yes, they're down by 3. They've got a very, very large hill in front of them that they need to get over, but I think that they do have the capacity to do it. We'll have to see if they can clutch up and pull out something from out of their sleeves, and it's not looking like it, as Isaac gets a beautiful read. That ball touches up to the ceiling, and he passed it to himself. Self-service. Sheesh.
Yeah, and it's almost like Isaac's peaking right now. He's having all these great plays in all these games, and it's what's helping Flame hopefully win this, as the situation for Snowstorm is starting to become dire, being down 4 with only 2 minutes left. That's 30 seconds for each goal. It will be interesting if they can pull it off.
It will be super interesting, and just going based on the history of this series, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't think it's possible. We haven't seen Snowstorm be able to stifle this Flame roster once they get going, and there you have it again. These guys are just popping off right now. Isaac just everywhere on the field, making great passes, making great shots, and I mean, he's in the they're just all 3 of the Flames are just doing it all right now.
Yeah, and that was a great shot from Fakey, but we gotta also look at that pass. That was a great pass from Isaac as well, but also that shot coming from Fakey was not an easy task to do, but it put this game just out of the Snowstorm's reach, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying before they scored that fifth goal, I think this game was out of their Snowstorm's reach once Flame hit three, just because they didn't throughout the whole series. Once Flame got going like this, they were not able to stop them. They were barely able to even sort of slow them down. They just were along for the ride, and Flame was just burning a trail as they are doing right now. And we enter the final 60 seconds of this match. Snowstorm down by 5, looking to take the L for the series in game number 5. And it's quite unfortunate, but Snowstorm not giving up yet. You love to see it. You love to see the competitiveness. They're still going for it, still looking for at least one goal, maybe even make 2 goals, save some face here. But regardless, even if they aren't able to, Finn, I got to say that, they were still able to force a game 5, and Cool Kyle going to stick Flames' 6th goal into the net.
Yeah, and even though this has been a pretty one-sided series for the most part in these 3 games, obviously it's a game 5, but it was an interesting series to watch. As I said, it was game 5. It's always interesting when it turns into a game 5. You never know how it's going to go, but unfortunately for Snowstorm, they took the loss. Flame, they took the W, which is good for these divisional matches, because even though I believe Flame has pretty much clinched their division, these divisional matches, they matter the most, as it could determine whether or not you get a playoff spot or not.
Yes, that's very true. The divisional matches are the big ones that you want to win, and Flame is in fact going to win that, giving them, I believe, a 13-3 record if my memory serves me, which it doesn't always. However, congratulations to Flame right there with a big win in game number 5 there. Got to tip your hat to Snowstorm. They put on a good show. They were able to get the dubs in game 1 and game 4, force the game 5. Unfortunately, that Flame roster is just, I mean, I've been avoiding saying it the whole time because it's so cliche, but they were on fire. They were killing it right.
Yeah, besides those 2 games in game 1 and game 4 where they ended up losing, they were tight games. It wasn't like Snowstorm was doing what Flame was doing. Snowstorm didn't have the pressure that they needed to win this series, and it was kind of one-sided, like I said, the entire time, as Flame will go up with a 14-2 record. Maybe taking the 1 seed if Raptors lose their game, but who knows?
Yes, most certainly. Yeah, 14-2. I totally messed that one up saying 13-3, 14-2. So that's a fantastic record from Frame like that. Frame right, excuse me, Flame right there. And some people, might even say, hey, they didn't even have local. Some people, I heard some people saying that, Flame was buffed off of local not being able to play, but that's not me saying that. I like local. I think local's a cool dude, and he's certainly better than me at Rocket League, so I can't say anything. However, it didn't matter. Flame didn't care. Isaac came through. Cool Kyle came through. Fakey came through. All of them played out of their minds. They did a great job. They definitely earned that W. And that wraps up our first game of the night, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 more bangers coming your way. We're going to take a short break. Whenever we do come back, we're going to be heading into the Prospect League, where we've got the Bandits going up against the Vipers. Both of these teams sitting at 11-4. That's going to be a spicy divisional match that you don't want to miss. Finn, thank you for joining me up in the booth. It's been a pleasure, sir.
Yeah, it really has, and this was a fun match. I hope everybody watching watches the other 2 matches, as hopefully they're just as interesting as this one was. And also, I hope everybody has good luck in their divisional matches and everything works out for them.
Most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break before we get right back into some Rocket League action for you that you don't want to miss. Stick around. We will be right back.